Hello and welcome to a new video. Taking the Honda Trail 125 for a ride through Louisville, Kentucky on October 22nd. Not sure when I'll edit and release this, but getting a ride in during the fall, during October, while the trees still have all of their leaves, or most of them. Because in this area, the trees stay pretty green until the last, it's really the last week of October and the first week of November or so that the leaves are all at their most colorful before they all just fall off the tree and are gone. So I definitely like to go and get some rides in during that point in time every year. I was going to go through some areas with some more off-road grass, but when I checked out a few of them, too many people. And right now, I'll be traveling down Hillcrest Avenue, which is a neighborhood that's pretty famous in the area for everybody going completely all out with Halloween decorations. So there's a lot of work that goes into a lot of these yards. And it's quite the destination spot where people come through here, walk through with their kids, check everything out. And then this year I think they're actually closing the street to cars on Halloween Day. And it'll be a ticketed event where tickets are free and the cops are giving them out, but it's just to help make things a little bit safer for all the kids and the pedestrians through here. Now, it's probably not super easy to see much of this as I'm riding through here, but coming through here on a weekend or a night, once after it's sunset and everything's turned on, all the lights are turned on, all the sound, all the music, it's pretty interesting. Again, this really doesn't do it justice at all riding through here. And I actually don't know where this goes. I've never actually gone straight across to the other side, because I was trying to find somewhere to go and do some off-road riding to get video of during the daytime. Because this Trail 125, it's quiet enough and it's small enough and it's light enough that people probably don't care if you take this off-road in places that are, public spaces where people take dirt bikes and, mountain bikes and stuff through. Just have to use a lot of discretion and caution and common sense. But there are a number of parks locally that have specific signage about how ATVs are illegal, so all-terrain vehicles. And I would assume anywhere they have those signs means no go on anything gas, even if you're just rolling through for a second. But this path will bring us out down by the Ohio River. And so I guess that's dumb that I never went all the way through Hillcrest across to the other side to realize it turns into this street, which, because I've cut through here a lot as I'm going to downtown or the riverfront. And there's been a lot of construction going on in this area with various road closures. And two, back in the spring when we got a lot of rain, a lot of this area was underwater. We had a lot of flooding in the area, especially around the river, which is just on the other side of this water tower thing. This would have all been accessible by boat, but not car. It is frustrating because one of the main ways that I would ride this to get to different parts of the city, especially if I want to go to the Prospect area, was to take River Road, which is this road, in the opposite direction, all the way until it runs out into the Prospect area. But they have different sections of it closed for road work, and that's been shifting over time, so you can't take it all the way through. Meaning if I want to go to those areas, I can still get there, just have to go much more roundabout way, because you can't take this on the expressway. Over to the left are facilities that are soccer facilities. I think it's connected with the Louisville City Soccer Club that's in town. And over to the left are more soccer fields. So I'm going to go back in here, and I'll go across the street from this as well. Oh, that's actually closed now, because over to the left, I went through there before on one of the e-bikes back in the summer. I went through at nighttime. Don't know if I would recommend that for safety purposes, but I went through and it was fine. But I did run into some people back there that were camping out, which I didn't really expect to see. Nothing really happened though, so it was fine. But it looks like they have that blocked off, so maybe they're trying to take it seriously to get people out from back there, because parts of it go under the expressway and they go alongside Beargrass Creek. This is all torn up back here. But this goes up next to the Ohio River. Yeah. Looks like there's some barges or a barge thing over here. There's this back here. I think there's like a bike track. I would take this out on it, but there are actual bicycles, so not gonna do that. Because you gotta be, like I said, it's the common sense when people are out there on their bikes. Because I have had people yell at me when I myself am on a bicycle going through bike stuff. You know, when I was well within my rights to be there doing what I was, much less going through on a motorcycle. I saw the dreaded ordinance sign about ATVs, so I guess that also means don't take this. Because another added element, if you're on something like this, you have a license plate. if you have a license plate and there are cameras, they can capture footage of it. If you're on an ATV, not really. So all the places I would want to go off-road, I can't right now. And there's very bright sunlight blinding me. I try not to go to the exact same spots every single time I go for a ride. But it's kind of hard when you don't want to go for a 3-hour round trip. This is the Louisville Waterfront Park area. Goes along the Ohio River. We have all these various interstate and bridge crossings that mix across all of it, and then through the main downtown strip you have Interstate 64 that goes alongside the riverfront in downtown, which probably not the greatest aesthetic decision, a decision that makes the best use of the land and the property, but if you look at old pictures of what downtown Louisville used to look like along the riverfront, it was all just a bunch of industrial crud all over the place without much in terms of usability for the average person. This is approaching the KFC Yum Center, where the University of Louisville basketball team plays, in addition to hosting various concerts and other events. It'll probably get rather dark with the overpasses covering things up. They have various steamboats that dock up under here. I'm not sure which ones these are. The Belle of Louisville is not in there. That's the larger one that tends to dock there. It's a part of the Kentucky Derby Festival, the Great Steamboat Race. And some of this area, you know, maybe a couple of years ago I would have just taken this bike up on the sidewalk and went through, but they've renovated all of it. And they've added a play park for kids, so it's actually a bit nicer and more cleaned up than it used to be. Cut through this alley. Over to the left, you can maybe see the handle of the big baseball bat. That's a part of the Slugger Museum, the Louisville Slugger Museum. So there's a large bat. And then if you go a few blocks over here on the left, on the side of the Caulfield's building, there's another large bat. It's a different type of bat. It's probably their busiest time of the year since Halloween's coming up. And this is heading west into West Louisville. Because really, downtown, traditionally what you think of as downtown Louisville ends at around 9th Street. And then when you go west of that, it's really considered West Louisville. Because all of the big buildings and stuff are gone. There's a lot of old industrial buildings and things still here. Hopefully these lights work out so I don't have to sit here and wait forever. But a lot of this area, so part of it, is the Portland neighborhood, because the city used to be a major hub and a port when things would travel by river. So Louisville was actually, in terms of the largest cities in the U.S., was ranked higher in that list decades and decades ago than it is today. So there's a lot of industrial stuff in neighborhoods around here. That hasn't seen the same level of investment and interest as other parts of the city. Let's see if I remember where to cut through at. I think pretty soon I'm going to have to stop and switch the settings on this camera over because it's getting dark. Hang back a little bit from this truck that's polluting the air a little bit. Don't want to breathe all that in. I guess I can let it keep going in this mode for a little bit longer. So I'm going to go up here and hopefully find what I'm looking for. Portland Wharf Park is where I'm trying to go. Because that's usually not very heavily used. It is always funny when you tell people, something about this neighborhood, the Portland neighborhood. Everybody's first reaction is Oregon. It's like, well, no, there's a Portland neighborhood here in town, as well as a California neighborhood. And, I don't claim to be an expert on Portland, Oregon by any means, but when I think of Portland, Oregon, from the time I've been there, I don't see many similarities to this neighborhood. If anything, the areas of Louisville that I would say are the most similar to Portland would be the Bardstown Road and Germantown areas. Maybe Frankfort Avenue as well. Okay, so here we go. So I've seen people bring cars and trucks back here all the time. That sign said no camping, didn't say you couldn't take a motor vehicle back here. You see the nice sunset colors kicking in, and the trains over there. There's a train track that goes to a train bridge. And there's all of this area where there's all of these columns that support the interstate above. I've come through here at nighttime as well. Not sure that I would recommend that. There's a neighborhood. I think this is a bit too steep to take this bike down. This does seem kind of like a location you would see in a horror film or something. Especially at nighttime when it's dark. And then at different points in time, these columns have had way more graffiti on them. And then technically there's a path that goes in the woods here that goes behind the Seneca Golf Course. I don't know. The last time I looked at it on the e-bike, it was in really bad shape, so I wouldn't really try to go through it, really. But some brush, and the Ohio River. Yeah, because this is, it's a park, technically, but I'm not sure what all there actually is to do here. Alright, so I swapped it over to the, pure video mode, which is the low light mode. That should do better in lower light conditions. I'm not sure exactly where all this goes through. And if this is all that safe. Guess we'll find out. But this goes along the Ohio River. So this is in better shape than the last time I came through here. Then it gets a little bit... This is just dirt. Ugh. I'm not sure how traversable this is to get back up, so I don't want to get stuck. Yeah, because I'm not sure if this could go up a steep embankment where it's really muddy. This is all rutted up. Yeah, I don't know if I want to go back through here. Don't want to get stuck somewhere. This is generally in better shape than I remember it being in. So this would probably be really fun to come through on a mountain bike. There's a truck back there, which I don't want to hang around too much and see if I'm bothering somebody. Wonder where this goes. don't think I want to go the rest of the way in through here. Might find something I don't want to find. Because there's probably a reason they have all the signs about not camping. I'd rather not run into somebody that doesn't want you back here. There's some remnants of things back here. Well, guess it won't hurt to go through here. No. This does not go through anywhere. Okay. So that was a little bit of a off-road adventure. I'll roll out of here. So that was some off-road adventuring. Let's see. Oh! There's a big hole in the ground that luckily wasn't that wide. This is Northwestern Parkway, heading towards the Shawnee Park area. But yeah, it's one of those things where when you've got something like this that you want to take off-road, you have to find the spots you can get away with it, and that you won't be disturbing or messing anything up too bad. Because with the e-bikes and stuff I have, I don't really care where I take those. I mean, I don't take them on single track mountain bike trails, but if there's a grassy trail through the woods or something, then fair game. Because one, even on an e-bike, you know, you can have somebody that's on a mountain bike trail doing 30 miles per hour downhill on a, you know, non-electric, just standard bike, and if they hit you, it's a much bigger deal if you're on a 100-pound bike than if you were just on a, you know, lightweight mountain bike. And there's pedestrians and stuff like that, and you can cause damage to the trail itself, so I just avoid those. But if it's just a grassy trail or path that goes through somewhere, then I'll check it out. On the Trail 125, not so much. I have to do a bit of pre-scouting for places that I think will make some good exploration. And a lot of the spots that are good are really not within the city limits, you know, within the main part of Metro Louisville, so you have to go a bit out of your way to get to them. You know, as I mentioned before, I don't always feel like doing a 3-hour round trip ride where it's an hour, you know, each way to get where I'm going, an hour plus exploring, and then coming back, so. And that's stuff you gotta plan. Realized I left a pocket unzipped and I was making more cold air come in. So on the right is Shawnee Park. So I'll turn over here in a minute. Looks like they actually have stuff going on, so it might be busier than it usually is when I roll through here. This is the boat launch ramp that you can use to put a boat in the Ohio River. There's usually people hanging out just on the boat docks, so I don't know how difficult it will be to actually use this to launch a boat. And this trail straight ahead, this is where the trail I was on earlier ultimately gets to if you go completely all the way through all the stuff in the woods and find your way to the other side. Now I'd have to check and see if it actually fully connects anymore, or if it's just the kind of dirt trails. And this is the Ohio River. Yeah, so this is the Ohio River. On the other side of this is Indiana. Okay, so the battery for my Insta360 camera that was on the helmet actually died, so now I'm going to wrap this up on my phone. But yes, that was taking the Honda Trail 125 for a ride through Louisville, Kentucky, going around some of the areas around the Ohio River, and ending up at Shawnee Park. But yeah, that's it till next time.